Alright, so today I wanted to give my opinions on the nighttime aspects of Dying Light 2. Obviously, the night is a key part of the game, because that's when all the big bad monsters come out, and you have to kind of run away, or get a UV, or in this game's case, try and get to UV before your timer ticks down and you turn. It's a new feature there in this game that's different to the first game. I'm going to go over the activities that you can come across at night, go over what they are and how good they are, and just genuinely discuss my own thoughts on how the nighttime system works in this game. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start with the activities you usually get up to at night in this game. There are three main ones: dark zones, quarantine zones, and GRE anomalies. Dark zones are places where the undead kind of linger in the daytime, and when the night falls they all leave, and it's mostly empty inside there, which gives you the opportunity to go in, loot some pretty good stuff, couple of inhibitors as well, which are used to increase your health and stamina, and you can usually get some pretty good rewards from them. They're not massive, but they are there. A step up from that is the quarantine zones, the GRE facilities. These are usually 3 floors of undead, again, most of which have left because it's night time, so you do want to do is at night. You can go in the day, but it's really recommended that you don't because it's a lot harder. But go in at night, loot the area. You usually get a lot of inhibitors in these ones, usually like 4 to 5, and some pretty good loot as well. Keep in mind that there is multiple floors, and also keep in mind that if you start this, say at 6 or 7 AM, the day cycle returns at 8 AM in the game. So if you're still in there at 8 AM and you're on the second floor, you go down to the third at 8 AM and some volatiles will be in there again. So my one piece of advice for these areas is to keep an eye on the time when you go in, keep an eye on the time as you're in there, and keep an eye on the time as you're about to leave, because you need to get your ass out of there if you're in there a little early in the morning, because they will turn up and they will fuck you up, especially early on if you don't have that many good weapons or abilities. Outside of the dark zones and the quarantine zones, there is GRE anomalies. These are small areas, usually kind of small facilities that are more outdoors and contain a boss. I believe the bosses are called revenants, but I'm not 100% sure. And that, honestly, like, I would say this part is a bit underwhelming. Like, the boss fights are usually pretty easy. Again, if you have good weapons with good mods and a lot of abilities unlocked already, they're a pretty easy prey. Like, they're not going to give you that much hassle. Not really. I think that's an overall complaint for me with the game, and I don't know if anyone agrees with me or not, but the game feels pretty easy. Like, I don't see it as much of a challenge. I've done it a few times, like, I'll admit to that, but it's usually been my own mistake, like I fell off a building or something like that. But the combat seems pretty easy. Like, you can kind of beat everything down pretty easily. There's a few abilities you can get that basically one-hits everything, and it's like, where's the challenge here? So those boss fights aren't particularly difficult. I hope they improve over time, and maybe through DLC they add some harder things. But those anomalies are really, really easy to beat. Also, going back to the timer you get at night. Basically, when you're in the dark zone or you're outside in the night, you have a timer. If that timer ticks down, you turn and basically die. Early on in the game, it's quite a lot more concerning because it's quite a small timer, but as you upgrade yourself and find more materials and resources, it kind of becomes trivial. Like, you can get these things called immunity boosters, and they essentially reset the timer for you, and I always seem to have like 30 plus on me at all times, and you only really need to use one. And I don't know, like, it doesn't really affect you at later points in the game. Like, the timer's just kind of there, it doesn't really do anything to you, and it just makes things a little bit easy. Again, another thing that I think really should have kind of been thought about is that timer. Like, I don't know, like, at the beginning of the game, okay, it's a bit of a concern, but as you progress, it becomes less of an issue, which I guess makes sense, because, you know, you're progressing through the game, you're getting stronger, you're getting better, but it really does make a mechanic they added that's new quite easy to ignore, which is weird. But moving on to the positives again of the nighttime, I really like the different types of enemies that come out at night. Obviously, you've got the really fast ones, you've got the ones that spear at you, you've got the old school volatiles, which are a lot more menacing in this game than the first game. Very, very, very difficult to take down, especially early on. I think I got into an encounter with one of them at one time and died pretty easily. Like, I think like 2 hit me. So, not to be messed with unless you're prepared. Yeah, but the different types of infected are really cool. I love the chases, especially when you can really run around and get a chase to like level 3 or 4 and it makes it really intense. Like, that's really fun. On top of that, obviously chases are a lot more interesting when you have more parkour skills, because you can move around a lot faster. And it really does, like, it really is enjoyable to kind of be in and running away from like hordes of zombies chasing you down across rooftops. Also, the incentive to be out at night is definitely there. Obviously, you get XP boosts for nighttime activities. Whether you're running around at night or fighting at night, your XP is increased. The loot is there as well, like the better stuff you are more likely to find at night by going into these GRE facilities or dark zones or stuff like that. Yes, there are things you can do in the day, like the convoys and stuff like that, but they do have a chance of dropping high gear, but not as much as the nighttime activities. It really does encourage you to go out at night and do stuff. So overall, I would say nighttime in this game, definitely a fun experience, definitely fun by yourself or with friends, it doesn't matter. The challenge is not really there, unfortunately. Like, whether you're playing solo or co-op, the game is just easy. I kind of, now I've played it basically all the way through, I'm basically at the end now, at the time of recording this. I do regret starting it on normal. Like, I was thinking about doing it on hard, but I just didn't. And I probably should have, so it's a shame, really. But other than that, let me know what you think about the nighttime stuff. I enjoy it. Hopefully they add more to it over time, which I'm sure they will. Obviously, they've planned out 5 years of content from the game, so I would imagine it will only improve and hopefully get a little bit more challenging over time. But as always, again, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.